Okay, welcome back to the first work week in August. So we're just beginning our podcast show. I hope this recording isn't too echoey. So this is the first time I've really done this. And what I want to show is how to connect, like you just had this awesome business idea, so you purchased the domain name, and you want to hook it up to your Google Cloud instance where you've developed the application that you want to share. So how do you do that? I'm in Network Solutions, which is a common domain name provider, and I don't have the security key set up yet, but we'll do that maybe in a future video, and it costs actually quite a bit of money. So for now, I'm just gonna do the normal HTTP request on the website without the security layer. So how does it work? You have to go into advanced tools, and the way the internet works is it connects a whole bunch of computers by IP addresses, but humans don't like to memorize numbers because we're not that good at it. But what we do like is we like names. So like we can remember Google, we can remember Microsoft, we can remember Oracle. So, but then the internet, what they have to do is they have to translate that word. This is what you're buying essentially. So I bought the domain name that's called genapi.org. And what I hope to do is develop a system where you can do solely front-end coding, so you don't have to do any of the back-end work, and you're going to get an enterprise application with an application programming interface that you can manage, control, extend from, and develop any idea that you want without having to do any more coding than the front-end part. So it'll enable the JavaScript developer to have full back-end support. So you could just focus on the idea that you want to create, and you don't get bogged down by all the frameworks and technologies in the back end. So that's going to be completely transparent to the solution. So for example, what we're essentially going to do is create a JSON converter to a MySQL database. That's the idea. That's why it's called genapi. We're generating an application programming interface. So I bought the domain name genapi and gen-api.org. Now I want to connect it to my Google account. So if I go into a Google account and I choose my project, I should have, it's under compute engine. This is basically means a computer. And if I go in here, VM stands for a virtual machine. And then I should have, it's cropped here. Let me just make this browser a little bit bigger. Oh, it's not started. So what I gotta do first is gotta start my instance. So I'm going to look for the controls to start it. I'm trying the free trial right now. I was looking at the cost, and it looks like it's about $4 a day, which is expensive actually. I didn't think it would be that much because it doesn't actually do anything. I have no traffic, but it still costs that much. So what I'm going to do is it's stopped right now. I'm going to start the web server, and we're going to show you how to connect. Once you bought the domain name, connect to your website using the domain name. So let me show you if I can find my IP address on this machine. I'll go back to the screen we were at before, and it shows up here. So this will let us know when our machine is running. Now I have Tomcat Apache server that's hosting the website. That's the technology I'm using. So to test that the website is up and running, I can go to my web project, and this should be a blank application programming interface once it gets started. Or I can just go to the root and I should see the Tomcat homepage once the website gets up and running. So let me go ahead and change, while we're waiting for that to start, I'll just go into the advanced tools and I'll show you, these are called A records. So how it works is, how the internet works is that there's a bunch of server computers throughout the world that host these A records. So they're just lookups, they're called host INI file. So it basically just maps the name to the number. So you can go in here and you can somehow change these A records. So let's go in, and I thought that these are the DNS server that I was explaining that hold the records. And this is one at ns35worldnic.com, and presumably they're close to your location. So there'll be what's called an internet backbone hub that all the internet traffic for like Vancouver Island will go through. And this is literally a server that's running somewhere in a building. And then the idea is that if that server goes down, the internet traffic can get routed to another machine. So there's multiple nodes throughout the network, and that is what's supposed to make the internet resilient. And it's because it was created by DARPA, which is the defense branch of U.S. government. So let me see if I can't find a way to manage my only advanced users should make updates. Okay, I guess that's what we are. Let's continue. Here we are. All right, so this is the wrong IP address. So we want to bulk edit this. So we want our domain name, www, and all requests on this path to go to there's an @ symbol. So I want to bulk edit this, and I want to change it to the new server that we have up and running. I just want to show you how you do that. You just update those, continue. And it says here, changes may take up to 24 hours to update throughout the internet. So that means that in some locations, you don't see the change happening. You have to wait. That's what that means. That makes it frustrating as a network administrator to know if it worked or not, because what are you going to wait a whole day after you make one change and then wait another day and wait another day? So it's like you just have to hope that the theory works, and it's well understood, so it should work. So let's make these changes. Almost looks like a invoice. Now these have been saved, and they're saying it may take. Now it says that, but in my experience, it actually happens within 20 minutes. So let me go back. I don't think my web server is up and running. So I hope I got this right. Let's go back to the cloud instance, and what we're going to do, it looks like it's still trying to start. Let's try to go into the cloud instance, and we will see if we can connect to it. So I'm going to SSH into the instance. Yeah, just go use the browser for now. Google provides this convenient way of securely SSH into your server using your Google account. So I'm in, but it's not the interface I want. So oops, what happened to my, hello? Hello? Oh, that was strange. I lost, we got a drop call there. So let's go into think I've got some notes somewhere that show me how to do this, so forget how. Let's see. So I'm gonna go G-Cloud. Let's see, it's in G-Upload. Just double check this, hold on. Okay, let's see, uploading a file. I want to log in. Okay, so what I'm going to type in the console is gcloud auth login. So gcloud are some tools that you have to install to be able to SSH into your cloud instance. Don't use sudo when you use gcloud or it won't work. Then you say allow in your browser, and then it's going to connect you to your default project. So if you want to change the project, you can set the configuration if you have multiple projects, for example. So I'm going to set it to the web project that you just saw on the console, and then it will allow me theoretically to SSH in. So if I copy this command, what you're going to need is your instance name. Oh, I didn't have it copied. So you can get that from the web console. So look for the instance name is right here. So I'm going to copy that and then replace it with this. And then I'm going to type this command. And it should SSH me into my cloud so I can start my Tomcat server. And then we can test if it's working. So David, I'm in my instance. So if I look at I'll do sudo. It's just I forget how to start Tomcat here. How to systems control start Tomcat 10. Here it is. So I'm going to need to use this to start the system control for my Tomcat instance. Oops, it's Tomcat 10. It's not. I thought that's how you did it. Oops. Whoa. What is my root password? I don't think this is the right way to do it, actually. Let's see where it's installed. There it is. So let's go cd opt Tomcat bin sudo opt Tomcat bin. Okay. So this is starting up the Tomcat server. version 1. And if I click on it and then I go to API, this will be the beginning of our blank API. So what we want to check that this 3460, 245, 232 is set up here. So I'm going to go, so make sure that that matches 3460, 245, 232. It does. So we are at genapi.org. So now what we can do is we can make business cards, for example, with this URL, and then we get a more agreeable name here. So if I went to World Wide Web, genapi.org, then this is the network solution site. So the changes have not propagated yet. Now the other thing that I wanted to do is I would like to have email, because how I want it to work is a user will log in and I will send them their application code through email. I was noticing I don't have a way to send an email without having an email server. And you could use Yahoo, but it's not very professional looking. If the email's coming from Yahoo, it could be flagged as spam, and it doesn't seem legitimate. So to legitimize your company in the modern world, you need a secure domain name from which an email can derive. And I was noticing that when I'm setting up network solutions, they were constantly pestering me to get monthly payments to like protect my domain, to auto renew the lease on the domain, because you're leasing it from the domain name server registry people. So what we're going to do is we're going to install, I've built this script to install an email server, so that will enable, we will be able to provide security by authenticating users. Can only legitimately get a key if they have a valid email. This will also dissuade computer robots from being able to use our domain, because they won't be able to check their email and then get the code from their email, you know what I mean? So that should be another layer of security. So in notes here, what I've got is I've got a install email script. So I want to open this up and run these commands on the server. So bring the commands over. So here's so I'm going to test it with sending myself an email to Yahoo and see if it works. The other thing that this requires is that email looks like it works on port 25. So you have to enable this in your firewall so that the Google Cloud server can send an email properly. So let's go ahead and run. We're going to install a email server called Postfix. And what's required there is get to my terminal where I have the instance, and then I'm going to make a file. So I will do a new file. This one's called install email. So I'm going to do touch install email.sh. Then I'm going to give it permissions to execute. So I'm going to go chmod plus x install email dot sh, and then I'm going to use sudo nano install email dot sh, just transfer, and then I'm going to save it. Oops. And then we just run it, so I can go sudo install email. I wonder if I need sudo, because, yeah, I guess so. Okay, so this will take about 10 minutes, I think. And that's basically all we need to do, and then we can write some Java code that will, after a user registers to sign in, that will just generate an API key. And then what happens is when they want to use our API, they just plug the key in, and their key will be unique, and then they'll be able to enjoy all the services of front-end coding, so you can build a full enterprise level application through application programming interface just using HTML and JavaScript. Okay, so that's the dream. So this is one step in the right direction. It's the first business day in August, and that's why we're doing something business related on this podcast. We're setting up a website with a domain. And we're going to have to wait 24 to 48 hours, it said. But I don't think that's true. And then maybe after we reboot, it'll actually work. But right now, we're just going to install the email server, and then we'll get back to you. All right. Let's see if I can stop. This is also the first time I've used this microphone. So part of the why it sounds so unrehearsed and everything is I'm just kind of just doing this video to test the microphone. And I'm also, everything I do on this show is all about trying not to spend money. So what we're trying to do is start a company as minimalistically as possible, and I'll have to pay some corporation a monthly fee just to exist, which I don't think is good. I mean, we pay where we have to because we have no choice in some places, but otherwise we're like doing this so that if we want to be able to send an email out, we should be able to do that. So I'm gonna go okay. Internet site, okay. Instance, perfect. Oh, that's a long name. So what they're saying is, so we're going to have like foo at gen-api.org. So I'm just, the correct thing here would be to use gen-api.org and say okay. This works. Okay, so this is a new experience for me, so I'm just kind of fairly advanced actually. Even Google warned me that this might not be easy, but we're going to try it anyway. Alright, so thanks for your time, and we'll see you in the next video. See, how do I stop this?